Hey folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, the sun came out for just a little bit today, but it wasn't quite as exciting as what I'd hoped it to be. We were kind of hoping for a little bit warmer and a little bit longer sun so that maybe some of this stuff could melt off more, but it didn't really happen. And we have another winter storm warning tonight. And I know a lot of the same places that this last system that went through, a few days ago is going to see the same stuff again, or the same places. It looks like this time it's more snow. Before there was some ice mixed in. This time it looks like it's just going to be snow. Temperatures are colder than it was. And depending in my area, I'm sure it's the same way in a lot of other areas, but in my area, it depends on what weather forecaster you listen to and what time of the day you listen to him, because anywhere between a half inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, it's just it's crapshoot. I am fully convinced that there's a secret room somewhere, and all the weather forecasters, the meteorologists, all get in there and they, have their dice, and they're like, all right, is it gonna be 6 inches of snow? Yeah, we'll go with that. I am not trying to be mean to any of you out there that might be weather people, but I just sometimes think that may be the case. This fire that's going on in California is absolutely horrific. I don't know if you've seen some of this stuff, the video footage. There's now, a lot of it is starting, some of it, maybe not a lot, some of it is starting to kind of die down, but only because it's running out of fuel. It's moving to the coast, and so some of it has already gone to the coast, and it's done. Like, it's gone all the way through the town, and it made it to the coast. So there's areas that are kind of clearing up in the sense of smoke and fire. Other areas are still burning. There's more wind warnings out today, tonight, tomorrow, and there's been some new small fires started. So it's not over. It's just there's some areas that the fire's done because it's burned up all the fuel. And there's been aerial footage of those areas, and it's like city block after city block after city block after city, like dozens and dozens of, and it's just row after row after row of houses, that are just, they're gone down to the foundation. Thousands of structures. It's devastating. I have not seen any definitive death toll. I know from what I heard, they were doing a decent job of, ordering evacuations, but it's gonna, once the smoke settles and everything, they're gonna find, it's inevitable, as big as this is. From what I'm hearing, and I do have connections indirectly with firefighters on the ground that are there. I've got a friend that has some people that are out there fighting it. And those guys are doing the best that they can. They have very little to work with when it comes to trying to tame this down. They're short-handed, they're short on supplies, they're short on apparatus, all this kind of stuff. But from what I hear, they're doing a really hard job and doing it well as they can. Yes, there's all kinds of stuff being talked about of how this is the overall operation, and the overall beforehand is a complete mess up, and it is. Things that the governor's done, the mayor there, just California in general, fire department leadership, all of it. And I'm sure there will be more yet to come. Some of it true, some of it maybe not, but I'm sure that there'll be a lot in the future as I've had a long day. I should probably cut that out of the video, but I probably won't. As the fire starts to kind of die down, there'll be more talked about. It's devastating. I cannot imagine what that would be like. I've been involved in some pretty good sized fires, but I cannot imagine something like that. The bird flu and the regular flu and all that stuff, is going around. There was more cattle herds today, and chicken, poultry, factory farms and stuff have found more of the bird flu H5N1 going around. Japan is reporting a really high year of just, I guess, regular flu. And then here in the United States, between COVID, the regular seasonal flu, seasonal cold, RSV, norovirus, and probably a few others, some pneumonia and everything else. From what I'm seeing, it looks to be a really bad year. And then, of course, the H5N1 is just kind of getting started. So, and I know it's that time of the year, so this kind of stuff does spread around, and I think that probably a bulk of it is just it's normal seasonal stuff. But I think that there's also some manipulation control from the psychological aspect and from the actual biological aspect of the diseases, because they're trying to spread this around. For those of you that are in the know, some of you and some of you don't, but that's fine. 2025 is a pretty significant year in a lot of conspiracies. The Deagle report shows America's population dropping significantly in 2025. It's the year, the real big kind of kickoff year to really get things ramped up for the Agenda 2030. If you really get deep into Agenda 2030 and what their plans are and what they're doing is, for the last several years, it was trying to get things into place, like kind of move the chess pieces on the board into the place that they want them. And then about year 2025 or so, a lot of the stuff really starts ramping up so that it's, taking effect by 2030. So there's a lot of things we're just a few days into this year. And think of how much stuff has happened in just a few days, folks. We had a bombing in Las Vegas. The Cybertruck guy, remember? I mean, everyone was talking about him. Now no one's talking about him. We had the guy running people over down in New Orleans. Everyone was talking about him, talking about their connections, and that this was potentially ISIS that was, going alerting or activating their cells network and all this kind of stuff. And then now no one's talking about that because, well, there's all this stuff going on in California. And there's also this stuff going on with Greenland and Panama Canal and Mexico and Canada and Trump. And today Trump went to the Jimmy Carter's funeral, and there's video of him and Barack Obama. They seem to be having a very friendly conversation. There doesn't appear to be any kind of, tension or anything between the two of them. But I think that we're in for a pretty crazy year. I mean, if the rest of the year just stayed at the same level of intensity and change and problems that we've seen in the last 7-8 days, can you imagine? Can you imagine what this year is going to look like if we maintain this? I know there's going to be periods of slowdown and stuff, but can you imagine what would happen, what it would be like if just in the last 7-8 days, we continued that same pace throughout the whole year? It's crazy to think, and I think there's a possibility. I think we're still looking at some serious economic problems. If at the very, very least, a stock market correction / crash. I think that's a very real possibility. There's been many experts talking about it. I've spoken directly, personally, with people that are experts in the field, and they're really, really, really concerned that we're headed towards a major, major correction in the economy. And H5N1 and this, what appears to be almost kind of an imperialistic stance that this country is now going to take on because of Trump. I know a lot of people are still saying, oh, he's just trolling everybody. This is a pretty dramatic troll. And I want you to sit back and think. You elect a guy to come in and be the president, run the country, and do a lot of change. And then he spends weeks just spreading this joke around, this little troll thing. Is that really what you want him to do? I don't think it's just trolling. I think it's gone well beyond that now. And I don't want to hear the thing that, oh, he's doing this to expose people, to get them out in the open. That's his plan. Anyways, we're in for a rough ride. I figured that's how 2025 was going to be, but my goodness, hey, folks, we're just barely over a week into the year. Does it feel like we're only a week into the year? It feels like New Year's Day was weeks ago. There's been so much stuff happen. It's going to continue happening. Maybe not at this pace, maybe it will, but we're in for a rough ride. And I don't see any real signs or any real reasons that it would just all of a sudden slow down and going back to being normal. So we need to be getting really seriously ready. Need to wake up. Some of you still think that come January 21st, everything's just going to be great. And even if it's not great, as long as it's better than Kamala Harris, it's okay. Well, that's a really low standard. I mean, that bar that you just set is really low. Well, at least it's better than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Yeah, they're the worst possible people that could ever run this country. I mean, you could make a strong argument that, Barack Obama would be better than those two. Hillary Clinton would probably be better than those two, and I can't stand either of those people. So you've set the bar really low by saying, well, at least it's better than Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. We should have much higher standards for this country. This country deserves it. We deserve it. And hold our officials to those high standards. But I think that we're in for a rough ride for the year. And I think that it would be very wise for you to push yourself to keep getting ready. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.